विहितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुकुं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Wonderful. So happiness in Krishna consciousness. This is going to be a really deep dive. Nectar of devotion is very, very special, and that's why I just want all of you to think from that perspective. We are not reading an ordinary book. So Srila Goswami has analyzed the different sources of happiness. Today our happiness comes from money,
Materialistic.
correct, facilities, opposite sex enjoyment. Kids go to this college, they hit one goal, soccer. Oh, that gives us happiness.
Bhagavatam, I was reading Pujo. If we have to come out of money and sex, if we come out of these two, we'll be liberated. It seems.
Very beautiful. Yes. So the whole material world is revolving around material happiness, driving from various activities. Right. So Srila Rupa Goswami explains he has divided happiness into three categories. The first one,
Material
happiness
enjoyment.
derived from material enjoyment, gives you a kick. It gives you a kick, saying that this is great.
One after other.
Thank you, Hari Bol Mataji. So nice to see you.
Happy Mataji.
Beautiful.
Dropout student.
But grateful for you joining in, Mataji. We are actually a nectar of devotion. We are on chapter. And I was just mentioning about this is a very, very, very special book. It's a PhD in bhakti, very detailed, very this thing. So very sweet. I'll put it that way. So here, Rupa Goswami is talking about the happiness. There are different sources of happiness. The first type of happiness people drive from material enjoyment. You get a new phone. Wow, this is so great. You get a new car. This is so great. New house. You get married. You have children. It gives you a kick. Wow, this is so great. So Rupa Goswami is identifying that. The second one, happiness derived by identifying oneself with Supreme Brahman. We cannot connect to that, but you understand there are rishis, munis, sadhus doing such a high tapasya, austerity
To meet them.
to actually leave everything in the material world. This is first kind of people who are basically looking for material enjoyment. These are second kind of people who are not interested in material enjoyment. Why? We studied this in Bhagavad Gita. So why they are not happy? Because they realize that it is temporary. So what they wanted to do is they want to attain moksha. Why moksha? Because you're out of the cycle of birth and death. Why I'm suffering? Because I have a material body. If I lose this material body, if I get a spiritual body, then I don't have any suffering anymore. So they try to identify themselves with Supreme Brahman. which is what the light emanating from Krishna's body, Brahman Jyoti. And third kind of happiness is derived from Krishna consciousness. Imagine whatever platform we are in today, actually we, by the mercy of Rupa Goswami, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we actually experience a third kind of happiness in Krishna consciousness. May not be daily, but when there are festivals, when there are beautiful kirtan going on, you actually grow above the bodily platform. And these are the experiences which gives us real happiness, a long lasting happiness, which has nothing to do with what I'm going to gain out of it, right? It's not about what is in it for me, the whole material enjoyment, what is supreme Brahman. We just talk about everything revolves around selfish life. What is in it for me? Even Brahman, why I want the moksha, what is in it for me? But the third kind of happiness you don't derive by thinking that what is in it for me. That happiness can only come when you just completely remove the idea of what is in it for me. We just had kirtan. These brahmacharis came from New York temple. They came from Bhakti and they came from Radha Govinda Mandir. What an amazing kirtan. Everyone was jumping on the floor, going beyond whatever capacity they may have. This is Krishna consciousness, where I don't have to think what is in it for me. That's the inner joy. That's the inner fulfillment which is being given here. So Rupa Goswami takes the examples in the Shastra. Lord Shiva speaks to his wife Sati. What does he say? My dear wife Sati, a person who has surrendered himself or herself at the lotus feet of Govinda and who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness can be very easily awarded all the perfection desired by impersonalists. And beyond this, he can enjoy the happiness achieved by pure devotees. So, the first kind of happiness is completely rejected because it is not at all, it is temporary, it is not permanent, it just lasts for a few seconds, right? So the second kind of happiness and third kind of happiness is compared here, and Lord Shiva is speaking to Mother Parvati, and I want to spell this out for all of you. If you are not aware who is running the energy, of course under the direction of Lord Vishnu, under the direction of Lord Krishna, who runs everything? Wife of Lord Shiva. She is the one who runs the whole material energy. She is the material energy.
Okay.
Right? She is Durga. She is Maya. She is running everything. So if you think about the people who are trying to gain happiness in the material world, Mother Parvati knows better than anybody else that this is temporary. And what is Shiva? Lord Shiva is not talking about that happiness. Mother Parvati already knows it. He's talking about what is the difference between second happiness and third happiness. That a surrendered soul who has surrendered his life or her life at lotus feet of Krishna. Now one may say, what does surrender mean? Surrender is a very overloaded term. But in simple terms, how do I understand what is my surrender? My surrender means I took a vow, I will chant my 16 rounds. That's surrender. Because I took a vow and I want to comply to that. And I want to chant my 16 rounds. I want to come to the temple.
Read Bhagavad Gita.
Read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam. Where is it coming from? This means there is a level of surrender which is already there. We may not be 100% surrendered. But if we are practicing this process for more than a year, there is some surrender which is in place. That's why we are coming there. Nobody is giving you $1 million here in the temple. Nobody is giving you salary to understand this. Like when you work, you paid salary. You come here, attend these classes. Am I paying you? No. Am I being paid to speak? No.
No.
So there is definitely some surrender which is there.
Power.
Correct. But when we surrender ourselves, thinking that removing that idea, what is in it for me, when of pure Krishna consciousness, which is, don't think that we cannot practice that. We can practice it. Only thing which is separating us is time. When Srila Prabhupada came, he was speaking to one of the person who was there on the in the park, alone sitting there. There was nobody. The Prabhupada didn't have a disciple. He was talking about there are thousands and thousands of devotees practicing. Are, where is it? Swamiji, you don't have a place to sit. What are you talking about? What is, yes, only time is separating us. And see what happened in few years. Similar way, we have no idea what is awaiting for us. That the greatest joy of bhakti is awaiting for us, which even impersonalists cannot experience. This is what Lord Shiva is telling. Happiness derived from pure devotional service is the highest. Why it is highest? I spell that out. Because it unmotivated and uninterrupted. What is the motivation for you to come and hear this class? No motivation. What is the motivation?
Spiritual.
Yes, I don't have anything thinking about what am I going to get out of it. It just gives us inner happiness because it is
The
eternal.
unpaid, this is more happiness.
Yeah.
We feel
You
we'll
are
actually we'll cry and work for the office hours because even though
huh,
we are paying,
even you are
but
paid
even this not paid will come happily.
happily. Very beautiful point. You are not paid here. Nobody is giving you anything here. But you are practicing out of happiness. You yearn. Like, I'll be very honest. I wait for Saturday and Sunday. Why? Not that I'll be relaxed. My Saturday, Sundays are the most busiest days of the week. So many services, so many engagements. I sometimes I struggle to breathe even. That is how it is so busy. But I wait for that. Why? Not that I am pure. This process is very powerful. Even though nobody is being paid, but people come here and work so hard. And they realize there is an inner happiness. The happiness derived from material perfection or understanding oneself to be Brahman is inferior because it is temporary. There is no preventing one's falling down from material happiness, and there is even every chance of falling down from spiritual happiness derived by identifying oneself with impersonal Brahman. What is it talking about? When they go to Brahman Jyoti, they feel emptiness there, even after getting moksha, because there is no one to talk to. Here, when you come in bhakti, why it is so sukham kartavavyayam? Because we come and practice together. You be alone, I'll tell you. You don't come to the temple for 2 weeks. What happens? Your
spiritual
energy
decrease.
goes low. You feel like, I don't want to go. I don't feel like going to the temple. Why? Because everything is nice and congenial as long as we have devotees around us. That is a treasure. And that's why temples are needed. Because similar minded people come together. Not that we come to the temple and discuss mundane things. It has been seen that great Mayavadis, impersonalists, very highly educated and almost realized souls may sometimes take to political activities. I'm sure I don't want to quote anyone, but you are aware of it. People become sannyasi, they attained actually siddhis, and they come to material world, open institutions. They start selling soaps, they start selling ghee, selling this thing. Why?
Schools, colleges.
Schools, colleges, why? Because there is no inner happiness. The reason is that they actually do derive any ultimate transcendental happiness and impersonal understanding, therefore must come down to the material platform to take to such mundane affairs. There are many instances, especially in India, where these Mayavadi sannyasis descend to material platform again. But a person who is fully in Krishna conscious will never return to any sort of material platform. In Chaitanya Leela, there is a beautiful personality. His name is Sridhar. The Sridhar is extremely poverty stricken. His dhoti has more holes than the actual dhoti. His roof has more holes than the actual roof. What is he doing? He's practicing bhakti. And when Lord Chaitanya invites him, when he is giving benediction to everyone, he says, Sridhar, I'm willing to give you spiritual world. What do you want? You tell me. I'll give you Ashta Siddhis. You'll get anything you want. My dear Lord, please don't get agitated. I don't want anything from you. Why? Because he is experiencing that happiness. Can you imagine a poverty stricken who has a meal to eat is happy? Why? Because happiness is not outside. However alluring and attracting they may be, he always knows that no material welfare activities can compare to spiritual activity of Krishna consciousness. There is a beautiful story which I heard. In New York, they gave an option saying that for people, rich people can come and serve prasad. So there was this one very, very extremely stinkingly rich person would come and serve prasad to everyone. And he was telling, I derive such an immense happiness by serving prasad versus with my millions of dollars lying in my account, and I have facilities like that. Why? Because this is core to our soul, core to our heart. The heart doesn't need a golden cage. The heart doesn't need a golden home or a gold car. It needs love, which is what kind of love? Not a materialistic love, which is tinted with what am I going to get out of you if I just have a relationship with you, right? The mystic perfection achieved by actually successful yogis are eight in number. I told you siddhis. What is the first siddhi? Anima siddhi. What is that? Refers to the power by which one can become so small that he can enter into the stone. He can go anywhere. Modern scientific improvement also enable us to enter into stone. What? Because they provide for excavating so many subways penetrating the hills, etc. What is that? You enter there, right, and do things there. So Anima Siddhi, the mystic perfection of trying to enter into the stone, has also been achieved by material science. Similarly, all the yoga siddhis or perfection are martial arts. For example, in one yoga siddhi, there is a development of power to become so light that one can float in the air or in the water. Wow. And people get mad after the siddhis. Are siddhis is not a perfection. But this is what happens. Like I was giving an example the other day. One time there was a sage, I forgot his name. He was doing severe tapasya. So Indra was afraid. Are what is going to happen? With all due respect to Indraji, he was very afraid. Oh, he's going to do tapasya and then he will attain the heavenly planet. He'll become next Indra. So what did he do?
Disturb.
He put a sword. He disguised himself, brought the sword. He said, "Oh, you know what? I have to go and take care of something. I'll keep the sword here. Just take care of it." So the sage, no problem. Okay, meditation. He started thinking, what is this sword can do? He picked up the sword, started cutting the wood. The tree got cut. Wow, it's so powerful. And then he started doing yes, that, and then Indra
Attached
was
to
happy.
Maya.
Indra was happy. This guy got distracted. So what happens is, like a child who is given a toy, the mother gives or father gives so that he can be engaged and he doesn't cry. Like they put it in the mouth, what either sucker or whatever they call it as. This whatever we are getting even at the elder age, like a car or a phone or a house, is nothing but a toy.
It's a
Why?
fair.
Maya gives you that toy thinking that this is going to give you happiness. But we are not different from that. The same child who's thinking this is the ultimate happiness. These people can even travel under the water, like Vishwamitra Muni. He would stay underwater in Himalaya where the temperature would be always, most of the time, below zero. 6 months under this. After comparing all these mystic yoga siddhis to material perfection, we find that the materialistic scientists try for same perfection. Now they are trying to figure out how we can actually build our houses on moon planet. How can we go to a higher planet because it's so crowded here? So actually, there is no difference between mystic perfection and materialistic perfection. A German scholar once said that the so called yoga perfection has already been achieved by modern scientists. And so he was not concerned with them. He intelligently went to India to learn how he could understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Right? One time, my spiritual master was mentioning that in his room there is cow dung. The walls are painted with cow dung. So a lot of extremely stinking Hollywood people they came there to see him, and they were, wow, this is so great. It smells so great. It just ambience is so great. Can you explain what is it? Maharaj said, if I tell you, you'll run away from. No, no, we want to do it. Tell us how much does it cost to paint us? Paint us like that. What is this material? Maharaj said, this is ha what? Cow dung? Stool? With that we are decorating the walls? That's what that's we don't realize the value of what we have because we are so enamored by external appealing of this thing world. Of course, in the categories of mystic perfection, there are certain processes that the material scientists have not been able to develop. For instance, a mystic yogi can enter into the sun planet simply by using the rays of the sunshine. Can you imagine? Rays of sunshine he can use as a vehicle to enter sun planet. There are so many sun rays. What can we do with that? Nothing. But these guys are so powerful. And what is that perfection? What is that yoga siddhi? Ashtasiddhi, one of them is the perfection is called as Laghima. Similarly, a yogi can touch the moon with his finger. Imagine. Though the modern astronauts go to the moon with the help of spaceship, they undergo many difficulties. Whereas a person with mystic perfection can extend his hand and touch the moon with his finger. This siddhi called as prapti or acquisition. With the prapti siddhi, not only can the perfect mystic yogi touch the moon planet, but he can extend his hand anywhere and take whatever he likes. He may be sitting thousands of miles away from a certain place, and if he likes, he can take a fruit from a garden there. This is called as prapti siddhi. Beautiful. You imagine they can attain that perfection. But what do they do? Similar thing. What is in it for me? Right? The modern scientists have manufactured nuclear weapon with which they can destroy an insignificant part of the planet. But by yoga siddhi, known as Ishita, this is another one can create and destroy an entire planet simply at will. Not that I have to manufacture something and I have to plan. Just I want to destroy this planet and they can destroy. That's their power. Vishwamitra Muni built another heavenly planet. I spoke about his pastime in one of the Sunday feast. He built another heaven for Trishanku. Can you imagine a power of building another heaven? Another perfection it's called as Vashita. And by this perfection, one can bring anyone under his control. They can control the mind. Yugal Kishore Prabhu was mentioning in Sunday feast that Peter Burwash, who was a great tennis player, were you there in Sunday feast class? This Yugal Kishore Prabhu here. He was mentioning Peter Burwash, who was actually a very rich tennis player. He was Prabhupada's disciple. And then he was mentioning that they work with people who can read the mind. So one time he went to see another lady who was also reading the mind. They never met each other. And then they sat next to each other on a chair. And this lady started reading the mind of Peter Burwash. And she said, wow, such a beautiful light, such a beautiful aura. That person standing next to you, what do you see? This is your guru, Srila Prabhupada. She told her name, his name also. She got down from the chair and sat down. Such a powerful personality. I cannot sit on the chair. Just reading the mind, imagine. This is a kind of hypnotism that is almost irresistible. Sometimes it is found that the yogi who may have attained a little perfection in Vashita, mystic power, comes out among the people and speaks speaks all sort of nonsense, control their minds, exploit them, and take their money, and then goes away. Because why what's the point of controlling the mind? Oh, I can control this mentality of controllership is such a big problem. When we have that ability to control people, makes us miserable, because when we cannot control other things, we think, how is that not possible? Why my kids don't listen? Why my wife doesn't listen? Because I have a managerial position at my work, everybody listens. Why my wife doesn't listen at home? And then there are relationship issues. There is another mystic perfection which is known as prakamya, magic. Prakamya power, one can achieve anything he like. For example, one can make water into in his eye and then again come out from within that eye. Can you imagine? Markandeya Rishi asked Lord Krishna, my dear Lord, everyone talks about Maya. You're so powerful, you have built. I want to see Maya. Lord Krishna said, are you sure? Yes. Within a second, the cloud came. They started pouring water and it devastating rain. Everything was flooded. And Markandeya Rishi was also forced by that flood, trying to swim against the current, not able to. He was just drowning in that. And he sees there is a small boy in that whole waters. You can see ocean like water. There is a leaf. On that leaf, there is a small boy who's sucking the toe in his mouth and being very happy. And he wanted to touch that boy. He came closer, came closer, came closer. When he touched the boy, the water disappeared. Everything disappeared. And he saw Lord Krishna in front of him. And he, Markandeya Rishi, glorifies, my dear Lord. If your Maya is so powerful, how powerful you would be. Can you imagine? This highest perfection of mystic power is called as Kama Vyasita, Kama Vasayita. This is also magic, but whereas Prakamya power acts to create wonderful effects within the scope of nature, Kama Vasyata permits one to contradict nature. What did Hiranyakashipu do? He controlled. Right now, it's too cold. I want warm weather here. Immediately, the weather will change. There's no mango season now. I need mangoes now. The mangoes will grow up. Why it is night? I don't want to sleep now. It has to be sun. The sun will appear. Controlling the planets against the nature. Right? Of course, one can drive great amount of temporary happiness by achieving such yogic material perfection. Foolishly, people are enamored by the glimmer of modern materialistic advancement, are thinking that Krishna conscious movement is for less intelligent men. Look at AI. What are you talking about? This all this nonsense. Enamored. Wow, look at this. A car can drive itself. Wow. I'm better off being busy with my material comforts, maintaining a nice apartment, family, and sex life. These people do not know at any moment they can be kicked out of their materialistic situation. COVID came. Did it see I'm a millionaire or I'm a poor? Millions of people were affected, irrelevant of whatever is their financial situation. Due to ignorance, they do not know that real life is eternal. The temporary comforts of the body are not the goal of life. Imagine how many hours we spend on our work. More than 8 hours. For what? Maintaining this body,
Mind.
which is temporary. Tomorrow, Warren Buffett comes and tell you, you invest in this stock. Whatever you invest, all money will be drowned. Will you invest? No, why would I invest? My money will be gone. Imagine, we are working so hard day and night for earning the salary, earning the money for a body which is going to drown. And it is due only to darkest ignorance that people become enamored of the glimmering advancement of material comforts. Srila Thakur has therefore said that the advancement of material knowledge renders a person more foolish. Why? How can I believe this? Because we think we are intelligent now. We want proofs. Like I was just telling other person, we went for Sunday Ann Arbor program. He was telling, I don't want to have a blind faith. Now, if you go to India, if you're in India, when you go for a haircut, what do? After cutting your hair, you put your head trusting that this guy is going to cut my hair properly. And they use the razor to remove the lower part of this, right? Have you ever thought, oh, this guy can cut my throat also? He can actually. Because you are completely surrendered to him. Hey, I trust you, you are going to do correctly. Like the other day, I remember one day I was just going with one of my friend who had Tesla, and there was a road construction. There was a very narrow lane. There was only one narrow lane, and that was also not straight, going like this. He said, the car drives itself. I said, please put your hand on the steering. I trust.
Yes.
Now, is that his problem or my problem? I don't want to get into that one. We have so much of faith, material energy, blind faith that this is going to work.
Correct.
However, in spiritual life, Krishna says 16 rounds. Why 16?
You will do perfectly one thing.
Why? I don't want to have a blind. Where does Krishna says I have to chant 16 rounds? You trust on Tesla. You trust on automobile, which is designed by imperfect human. You think that machine will be perfect?
Super example.
Right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur has therefore said that the advancement of material knowledge renders a person more foolish because it causes one to forget his real identity by this glimmer. I remember I came here. I was living in one bedroom apartment. Happy, I have no issues. Why do I need more than that?
Targeting next.
Now, when even I 4 bedroom doesn't give me happiness. What has changed? Did extra 3 rooms change my consciousness of getting out of the bodily life? No. I complicated myself more.
More salary, more EMIs.
More EMIs. This is doom for him because this human form of life is meant for getting out of material contamination. By the advancement of material knowledge, people are becoming more and more entangled in material existence. No hope of being liberated from this catastrophe. In the Hari Bhakti Subodhya, it is stated that Prahlad Maharaj, a great devotee of the Lord, prayed to Nrsimhadev, what? My dear Lord, I repeatedly pray unto your lotus feet that I may simply be stronger in devotional service. I simply pray that my Krishna consciousness may be more strong and steady because happiness derived out of Krishna consciousness and devotional services so powerful that with it one all other perfection, religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, even the attainment of liberation from material existence. Power. Just imagine 8 hours multiplied by 5 days, 40 hours, multi 4 weeks in a month. How many? 40, 40, 80, 80, 360. How much is that? 81, 160.
160.
160 a month. Multiply by 12. You guys are better math professional than me. How much is that? How much is that? Multiply by 30 or multiply by 12. Sorry, 12 months. How much it turns out to be?
1960.
1960 multiplied by 50 years.
Almost 5,000.
Those many hours we are working to maintain this body. Those many hours. I'm spending 2 hours in chanting multiplied by 1 week. How much is that? 10 hours.
14. 7 days.
Yeah, yes, 14. Yes, because not 5 days.
Saturday, Sunday.
14 hours multiplied by 365. Do that calculation. 14 multiplied by 365. How much it comes out to be?
5110
5110.
hours, that's all.
That's all you're spending in a year. And how much you're spending to maintain this body? 2 versus 8 hours. Which is, if you say, how many percentage? 400%? How much is that?
Into 4 times.
Yeah. Where are we? What are we doing in our life? Just thinking, I'm reflecting myself when I'm speaking, to be honest. Please forgive me. This is not I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself. Actually, a pure devotee does not aspire after any of these perfection, because the happiness derived from devotional service and Krishna consciousness is so transcendental and so unlimited that no other happiness can compare to it. I see our temple brahmacharis. Do they have bank account? No.
No.
Do they have a car? No.
Prabhuji, in one class, Yugal Kishore Prabhuji is saying like Sham Kishore Prabhuji, Yugal Kishore gave Prabhuji gave $100. It seems after 1 year he returned back that
He returned back.
$100.
Please keep this with you. I don't want that.
I was
Imagine.
surprised hearing.
Yeah, very good point. Imagine no house, no car, no credit card. It's like, oh, okay, I have money at this. No bank account.
How seriously? Still, we cannot even believe that, Prabhuji.
Imagine
Seriously.
what a level of splendor they have.
Yappa. Seriously.
Are they happy? Yeah, they are 100 times more than happy we are. So where is that happiness coming from?
Within.
Yeah, devotional service. It is said that even one drop of happiness in Krishna consciousness stands beyond comparison with an ocean of happiness derived from any other activity. Thus, any person who has developed even a little quantity of pure devotional service can very easily kick out all the other kinds of happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, which are the four primary activities of all other four Vedas. There was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya known as Kalovich Sridhar. I was just speaking about him, who was a very poor man. He was doing a small business selling cups made from the leaves of plantain tree, the banana tree. And his income was almost nothing. Still, he was spending 50% of his small income on the worship of the Ganges. And with the other 50%, he was somehow living. Lord Chaitanya once revealed himself to the confidential devotee Kalavich Sridhar and offered him any opulence he liked. But Sridhar informed that Lord that he did not want any material opulence. He was quite happy in his present position as a beggar and wanted only to gain unflinching faith and devotion unto the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Just thinking about it. We are working on new temple coming up. We have zero money, but we want to please Krishna. Literally, what Prabhuji was mentioning, every month, you know what is the expense of our temple every month? $35,000 every month.
Krishna, seriously.
$35,000 every month we are spending for what?
Krishna.
Prasad. So many things happen behind the scene which we don't have any realization about. When we have ocean, what does it take for us to put few drops? Anyhow, we are in this material body. What difference does it make? I'll still get money for my 2 meals of the food. Can I build a temple for Krishna? Can I contribute? Can I? It pinches me to give money. Can I contribute? Not easy, very difficult. Because money is honey. Arey, I'm earning, I have to save money, I have to take care of this, I have to take care of that. Hare Krishna. I was just hearing there are devotees who are every year they are giving more than $25,000. Not that they don't have kids, not that they don't maintain the family, not that they don't have retirement account, not that they have like a foolproof system when they. Because if I'm spending for my body, If I'm taking care of my home, why not for Krishna? Why not for Krishna? And he's a beggar. I was just hearing about one devotee was mentioning, I was just shocked. This is couple, a doctor, New Jersey. You know what they did? They didn't have kids. What they did is they sold out their houses. They gave all that money to build TOVP temple in Mayapur and they are living in temple. Can you imagine? I'll tell you, when we get detached from money itself is a big thing. What to talk about this body? How much painful it would be to actually leave this body when we are not able to even leave our hand to give money. I'm talking about myself, to be honest. So difficult. And money is honey. Working so hard to earn the money. I'm going to use for this body, which is going to drown. I know it, but it doesn't work. It doesn't fit in my brain. If these pure devotees can be engaged 24 hours each day in devotional service, they do not want anything else. Even the happiness of liberation or becoming one with the Supreme. I was doing seva on Friday, and I was just talking to Sham Kishore Prabhu, and we spoke till 10:40 in the night. I went home, and whenever I do the service, somehow the energy is so strong. Being in connection with the deities, I don't get the sleep. So somehow I didn't even hear my Mangala Aarti alarm on Saturday. And I missed it. By the time I thought there is some light because I opened the curtain that night before going to sleep. Or it's already 6 a.m. I missed Mangala Aarti. But he was there, woke up the deities. Or he's sleeping as much as I am sleeping. Or less than what I'm sleeping, sorry. What is in it for me? I want to give pleasure to Krishna. In the Navratra, it is said that any person who has developed even a small amount of devotional service doesn't care a fig for any kind of happiness derived from religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, or 5 kinds of liberation. Any kind of happiness derived from religious, economic development, liberation, or sense gratification cannot even dare to enter into the heart of a pure devotee. Prahlad Maharaj, Skala with Sridhar. Are, I'm going to give you. Imagine you are a beggar. Someone gives you millions of dollars. How would you feel? Are millions of dollars? You will become crazy. And Lord is saying, Are, I will give you a planet. What are you talking about? Millions of dollars. Are, my dear Lord, I don't want anything. I'll share you another story. There was a sadhu. He had 2 pairs of coupons. Okay. He would wear one day, and then next day he will wear the another one. He wash first one and then put it there for drying. One day he felt I should actually have more. I should have actually more. So he started thinking, Are, who is going to take care of that? It is nice if I his wife. No, what was that? Give me a second. I just forgot the sequence. Let me try to remember this one. Yeah. So one time, is that something? No, I forgot the story. Maybe I'll just bring it some other time. But that story, the main crux was that he felt, I wish I would have that. Then he got that, like he got the cow. Now to take care of cow, he has to put the grass. He didn't have time to do meditation. So he said, I wish I would have a wife who will take care of the cow. So he got married. So the wife came.
Maybe for washing, he would have hired a maid or something.
Okay, yeah, something. I just there is a
Flow.
chronological flow which I just forgot. So
Okay.
please forgive me. That's one of my favorite story.
Okay.
So then he said, "Oh, wife." Now wife said, "Oh, I have to get that. Oh, I have to take care of
Waiting
that.
to get
Now
kids.
I have to work. Now I have to get kids. I have to do that. Arey, why did I really? I was happy with 2 pair of coupon, 1 pair of coupon.
Yeah.
Where did I land up? Right, this is. It is stated that as the personal attendant and maid servant of queen, follow the queen with all respect, obey. Similarly, the joys of religiousness, economic development, sense liberation, follow the devotional service. They automatically come. But devotee doesn't want that. A pure devotee does not lack any kind of happiness derived from any source. He does not want anything but service to Krishna. But even if he should have another desire, the Lord fulfills his desire without asking. Dhruv Maharaj, what did he come for? Are I want a bigger kingdom than my grandfather, great grandfather Brahma. And when Lord Vishnu appeared, what do you want? He said, I don't want broken parts of glasses. I want pure devotional service. Okay, you get pure devotional service also, and you get a kingdom. You get a planet of yourself which is not destroyed when the whole universe is destroyed. Imagine. North Star, Pole Star, we talk about. Even today, we have that. We can see Dhruv planet. He attained perfection also. He attained Vaikuntha also, spiritual world. At the same time, he got a kingdom planet for him.
For a long time.
For long. He's still there, but it's never destroyed. Prabhu is the eternal king there.
Oh, is it?
Imagine, it's not destroyed. Even Brahma goes, he never goes. That's the benediction.
This morning only I read Prabhuji about the in
Dhruv
Bhagavatam
Maharaj.
second canto. I mean, it mentioned though the
Uh,
Dhruv Maharaj has a separate planet, it is one of the what is that Vaikuntha planet.
yes, it is Vaikuntha plan. Like Vaikuntha is not destroyed when the world is destroyed. Imagine. What a power of boy. Can you imagine? A 5-year boy attained Krishna's attention, Krishna's eye to eye contact, personal face to face interaction. In how much time? 6 months. How many of us have been in Krishna consciousness for more than 6 months? I'll raise my hand up here. What am I doing here?
Only chanting.
I don't have a taste for Krishna. Somehow I'm dragging myself in chanting. I don't take my commitment. I don't have time to read. Are a 5-year boy can see Krishna face to face. What kind of tapasya he did? He didn't stop eating, he stopped breathing. Can you imagine yourself? Oh, for 1 hour. Even when they say pranayam, whatever they do, we can't hold our breath for a few seconds. What a power. Can you imagine? So, what is stopping us to become like that? Our own limitation. Who is stopping for us to grow in bhakti? We ourselves stop. Sorry, I can't do that. Sorry, I can't do that. Sorry, I can't wake up early. Sorry, I don't have time to chant. Hare Krishna, how much? How much we should sincerely understand the goal of life is to not decorate this body, to come to the platform where we actually practice bhakti from our heart. That's what Dhruva did. Right? We will start this section, the second part, the rareness of pure devotional service. Krishna covered in Bhagavad Gita. How rare is bhakti that out of millions of souls, I don't remember the words, please forgive me about it. One comes to the path of bhakti. Few comes to the path, and out of that, very, very few, hardly
One will go to the top.
takes up devotional service very seriously, like Dhruva did. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. In the preliminary phase of spiritual life, there are different kind of austerities, penance, and similar process for attaining self-realization. However, even if an executor of these processes without any material desire, he still cannot achieve devotional service. And aspiring by oneself alone to achieve devotional service is also not very hopeful, because Krishna does not agree to award devotional service to merely anyone. Very difficult. Trust me, Prabhus and Mataji. If you are able to chant the name of Krishna, you have done tapasyas, you have done a lot of austerities. That's why you are able to chant. There is this beautiful song. कृष्ण कृपा हो तभी कृष्ण का नाम ले सकोगे कृष्ण का नाम ले सको हरि का नाम ले सको तो समझो कृष्ण कृपा है हरि 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 if you are able to chant Krishna's name, there is mercy of Krishna.
to just listen Bhagavatam, some millions of payas should be there.
Correct. Krishna can easily give a person material happiness or even liberation, but he does not agree very easily to award a person engagement in devotional service. Why? Because if you become bhakta, pure bhakta, you will control Krishna. Devotional service can be, in fact, be attained only through the mercy of pure devotee. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, by the mercy of the spiritual master, who is pure devotee, and by the mercy of Krishna, one can achieve the platform of devotional service. There is no other way. The rarity of devotional service also confirmed in Tantra Shastra. Why does? Again, we read this before where Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati that the happiness derived out of Brahman, attaining Brahman, is negligent compared to devotional. What does he say to Sati here? One is very fine philosopher, analyzing the process of knowledge. He can achieve liberation from material entanglement. By performance of ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, one can be elevated to the platform of pious activities and thereby enjoy the material comforts of life to the fullest extent. You can attain heavenly planet. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone devotional service. Don't ever think any pious activity brought you to devotional service. No. This is mercy of devotees, mercy of Krishna which brought you here. Not even if one tries for it by such process for many, many thousands of birth. I remember Bhimesh Prabhu. How I remember him is we were going to New Vrindavan for a picnic together.
Correct.
We went together there, spent 2 days. And when we were coming back in the bus, Yugal Kishore Prabhu was asking everyone, how many rounds will you chant? Bhimesh Prabhu was the first one. I will chant 16 rounds from today. How many rounds were you chanting? 1 round before that, or you were not chanting either?
6 rounds I was chanting.
Decided I will chant 16 rounds. Very important. Why? Association with pure devotees. Not even if one tries for it by such a process for many, many thousands of births. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj that merely by personal efforts or instruction of higher authorities, one cannot attain the stage of one must become blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees. In 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni tells to Yudhishthira Maharaj, my dear king, it is Lord Krishna known as Mukunda who is the eternal protector of Pandavas and Yadus. He is also your spiritual master and instructor in every respect. He is the only worshipable God for you. He is very dear and affectionate, and He is the director of all your activities, both individual and familial. And what's more, He sometimes carries out your orders as if He were your messenger. He went to Duryodhana. My dear king, how very fortunate you are. Because for others, all these favors given by you, by Supreme Lord, would not even be dreamt about. The purport of this verse is that Lord easily offers liberation, but He rarely agrees to offer a soul devotional service. Because by devotional service, the Lord Himself become purchased by that devotion. Doesn't want to offer bhakti very easily. Pure bhakti. One has to really cry, yearn for it, my dear Lord. Only thing which I need is bhakti. Right? So it's already 8:27. I want to hear from you. What did we discuss today? I'll stop sharing my screen and I want to hear from you. What all points we covered today? Anyone? Because at the end of the class, I don't want Prabhu class was good, but I don't remember anything. Any points, takeaways for you?
Prabhuji, how we dedicate our time?
That's a question or mentioning the point?
No, mentioning, Prabhuji. I'm just what I observe. No,
Hmm.
it's when you said the examples, right? I mean, the time, Prabhuji, the hours we chant,
Yes,
the days. So,
yes,
how serious are we? Like, it's not just first we should have that intent first,
yeah.
uh, uh, and
Very good point. Thank you, bro. Yes. We started our discussion. There are three kind of happiness one can drive. Happiness derived of material enjoyment,
Materialistic.
happiness derived of merging into Brahman, happiness derived of Krishna consciousness. Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati, the happiness driven did not material enjoyment we did not cover because that's useless, that's temporary. Imagine we are at that platform, to be honest. I'll be very honest. Rupa Goswami shies away to even cover that in detail. He goes directly to Brahman Jyoti. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's like, oh, there is no point in talking about that topic of material enjoyment. Forget it. That's just too low. Let's go beyond. He talked about Brahman Jyoti and what happens in devotional service. And we gave an example about Kalavid Sridhar. He's not looking for anything. And then we talked about Krishna doesn't offer bhakti easily. Why? It's bhakti is so rare. That's the another point we started. Devotional service is so rare. Why? Because if Krishna offers, you can control Krishna, like Arjuna did. Like Narada Muni is asking you this, how fortunate you are that Krishna wants to be your messenger. Krishna wants to be a charioteer of Arjuna. That's the power. We spoke about whole day, whole life, we are working so hard. Yugal Kishore Prabhu said a beautiful example. Sorry, it's a summary time, but I want to remind the honeybees. They collect honey whole summer season. They collect at one place. When the winter starts, they lose their wings, they die, and someone else takes the honey. Like that, our money is our honey. Work so hard, day and night, store in the bank, get
Die.
interest, and one day we leave everything like those honeybees. Everything is taken away. But it's so difficult to give that money, to run the temple, to give charity for Krishna. I'll sponsor this, I'll do that. Sorry, this is not a session for um, giving you
Sponsoring. Yeah.
sponsorship and all that, but I'm just trying to say what it takes actually for one to be detached from money. What to talk about this body? Hare Krishna. We will leave money, we will leave car, we will leave our houses, we will leave our relatives, we will leave our family. We will leave this body for which we are working for hours and hours and hours. One has to really sincerely think about it, introspect. What am I doing? Where am I heading towards? What should I do? That's what one should have. So I think I would like to end my class here today. Any questions or comments before we wind up? Okay, Bimesh Prabhu has no question. Any other points from anyone? Questions, reflections? Okay, wonderful. Sorry for going 2 minutes over time. We will continue. Momita Mataji, want to add something?
Prabhuji, I was wondering, like the intention you said should be right,
Mm,
um, due to our jobs, daily basis,
mm,
lifestyle,
mm.
and maintain everything together. What should be the right way of doing, apart from chanting?
Mataji, one should associate with bhakti as much as possible. So one is chanting, second is hearing. So hear Krishna Katha as much as possible. I'll share a few links there after this class, or maybe I just have to have
Yeah,
another class.
yes, Prabhuji, I follow all the all the
Yes.
gurus, Gaurdas Prabhu, and
So you
all.
write down what you learned out of it. Just hearing doesn't satisfy. What are the lessons I learned today? You write down and think about how will you implement that. That
Yes.
will help. And reading. One should develop the habit of reading every night before going to sleep. Please read Krishna book. Read 2 pages, 1 page, whatever you can. Please read Krishna book. That is how your day starts with Krishna, day ends with Krishna. You start your day by chanting, you end your day by reading Krishna book.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
That's what I would suggest.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much all for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Nectar of Devotion ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I'm ending now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.